Welcome to the Barrel Room Podcast, your front row seat to the world of whiskey and bourbon. In every episode, we're pouring up something worth talking about. From small batch standouts to big label legends, we sip, review, and break it all down one pour at a time. We'll talk tasting notes, tell stories, give the occasional review on real life experiences, and every now and then bring in a special guest from the industry to share a pour and a conversation. This podcast is made possible by the generous support of our sponsors. Edward Jones, Chris Ridgick, Aged Wisdom, Bold Strategies. Fallen Brothers Crafted Spirits, crafted in honor, shared in remembrance. The Barrel Room Bourbon Club, pull up a chair, we're waiting for you on the inside. And Grillo's Chop and Barrel, where fine whiskey meets fine meat. So pull up a chair, have a pour, as we dive into this week's episode of the Barrel Room Podcast. This pour of the Barrel Room is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Chris Ridgick. Just like a well-aged whiskey, a solid financial plan takes time, patience, and the right guidance. Whether you're investing for the future or planning your next big barrel pick, Chris is here to help you build a strategy that fits your goals and your lifestyle. So let's raise a glass to smart decisions and visit edwardjones.com/Chris Ridgick to get started. And now, for this week's episode of the Barrel Room Podcast, let's welcome our hosts, Kenny Gales and Brian Biscayne. Welcome to the Barrel Room Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Biscayne, Kenny Gales co-host. Today we are live at LIT Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield Valley in the district. If you've never been here, you're completely missing out. Massive selection of cigars, great selection of all type of liquor, but especially whiskey and bourbon. We get to talk to the owner, Brian, his son, Andrew, the general manager here at LIT Cigar Lounge, again in Chesterfield at the district. Got an exciting episode for you guys today. We're going to sample a few store picks here that they have picked from several different distilleries. We'll talk a little about cigars and just have a good time. So,
yeah, before we get started, I want to wish my good friend Brian a happy birthday.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, as we record this is recording on June 26th. This is my birthday. This episode will be released actually on 4th of July on Independence Day. So also salute to our soldiers and the incredible job they do to protect all of us each and every day. Happy Independence Day. So let's start with Brian.
Oh boy.
Okay. So tell me where the idea of LIT came from originally.
So I'm in the car business by trade and had been a cigar smoker most of my car career.
Okay.
And, it was always one of those things that as I would travel around, I could do this. And when Andrew, who was our youngest of three, left to go to college, I said to my wife, what do you think about opening a little cigar shop? And she's like, I'm open for like a little cigar shop. And so I totally hoodwinked her. And we just celebrated the second anniversary of our new space here, which is a 5,000 square foot monster.
Yeah.
So when we first started, we had no intention to even have liquor. We considered getting a beer and wine license. And I was fortunate, which a lot of people don't say, but I was fortunate to run into the right person at Missouri Department of Alcohol and Tobacco. And when he got all of our application stuff, he called me on a Tuesday. I'll never forget it. And he said, why are you not getting a full spirits license? And I said, we have no idea what we're doing. We've never been in the bar or restaurant business before. So we're just going to get started with beer and wine and kind of see how that goes. And he said, well, don't people who enjoy cigars like to drink whiskey? And I said, yes. And he's like, listen, he goes, send me a check for X number of dollars. He goes, I'm going to give you your full spirits license. He said, if you never use it, great, you never use it. He said, but you'll have it in case you want to do something down the road. And the day we got our license, we were lucky to run into somebody from Southern Glazers who happened to be in the lounge purely as a coincidence, entertaining someone. And he walked up to me and he said, are you ever going to get your liquor license? And I said, funny story. I said, it just came in the mail today. And he went crazy. He's like, where is it? And he said, I'm going to make you guys a show pony. He said, you guys will have one of the coolest places ever. And what they have done for us as a company and now as true partners is incredible. I mean, you've seen the bar out there. We have no business having, we didn't have any business having half the stuff that's up there.
I mean, you got some nice bottles up there.
There's some great bottles up there. And so we've been fortunate to have good partners and good friends. And here we are.
And really good barrel picks, too.
Good barrel picks.
We're going to sample some of those here soon.
So, talk to us about the first location, which was still here in the district.
Yes.
What made the decision to you double your space?
Almost 3 times.
For almost 3 times the space. From that location to this, what was that? Where did that come from? Just demand?
We always knew we wanted to move into a permanent space and do a build out here at the district. We didn't really know how big it was going to be. Anybody who's been around a long time knows the story, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. When we started meeting with a contractor and an architect, we really weren't sure how much it was going to cost. I really wasn't quite sure how we were going to pay for it. And I kind of put the design and those things into their hands, and my wife had a huge hand in the design of the place. And we got the bid on what it was going to cost to build the place out, and I almost drove off the highway. We were coming from out of town. We were like devastated. You know, we were coming back from an out of town trip, actually visiting Doug and Michelle, and we were just devastated. We didn't like, how are we ever going to make this happen? But it finally came to a point. It's like you got to make a decision. You're either going to go all in or you're not. And we were lucky to find a good lending partner that liked us, and here we are.
Kind of a cool story, actually, because it just resonates with entrepreneurship and not, and taking that risk, taking that leap, and now look at the success you guys are having. I mean, I would arguably say you're probably one of the most, if not the most popular cigar, whiskey, lounge, whatever you want to call it, in all of St. Louis.
Well, I appreciate that. We tell everybody all the time when we started, like I said, we had no restaurant bar experience. And I wouldn't even tell you we were cigar and whiskey experts. I had cigar and whiskey knowledge, but my wife and I, through the auto business, have been very fortunate to travel the world. And we knew how to take care of people and provide a really good experience. And we always had that mindset of, if we can start with that basis of providing a really good experience and good service for people, we'll learn the cigars, we'll learn the whiskey, we'll learn all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you have the good service and hospitality, then
for sure.
Good.
I learned 90% of my knowledge from this guy on whiskey. I mean, and I still learn something new from him every day.
I learn new stuff from all kinds of people every day too.
So we learn every day.
Yes, of course.
You're never going to know everything. So
never.
Always be an open book. Always be willing to listen.
For sure.
He'll still say something to me, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means, but I don't want to sound like an idiot. I mean, we got 30,000 people watching this podcast every month. It's like, I don't really want to sound like a dumbass when I'm talking about something on the podcast. So, Kenny, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
But that's awesome. It's a great story.
I guess you had the second location. It came. When did that come?
St. Charles.
We bought St. Charles July of 23.
Yeah, almost 2 years now.
Yeah. And it's a totally different animal.
So that fulfilled what your wife thought you were doing. It actually came through
642 square feet.
It's a little,
just a little cigar shop. So and that's a really neat location. It's that Main Street, historic Main Street area is so cool.
Kenny and I are both members of the St. Louis Bourbon Society.
Yeah,
right down there.
Yeah, we are too. Locker number 35. If you ever stick your head in, there's some good bottles.
So, what are we, 90?
99.
99.
That's my employee number at the fire district.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah,
that's great.
So, what made you seek that location, or how did you fall into that location, essentially?
So I met Larry. So that location was John Dengler Tobacconist. They had the distinction of being the oldest tobacco shop west of the Mississippi. And Dengler started in 1917. Larry was third generation. His wife was the family. She was the Dengler. And I was fortunate to meet Larry at the cigar trade show in 2021. And a little bit unfortunate part of it, his wife had just passed a few months before that. And I got introduced to Larry. He knew who we were. And I just said to him, he made the comment, he said, I don't have any family. I don't have any kids. He said, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to stay in the business or what I want to do. And I just said, let's just stay in contact. And if you ever decide you want to do something, then let's talk. And February of 23, he reached out and said, I'm ready. And he said, I only want this to go to a family. He said, I don't want somebody who's just going to get in the business and this is going to be their first venture into the cigar business. And he said, you guys are the perfect people to do this. And so we spent a few months ironing out the details, and
That's awesome.
opened doors there July 1st.
So, Andrew, when did you join the family business?
Give me that lighter. I need to light my cigar.
So wait, so you went off to college, right? First?
Yeah, went off to college. So I guess fall of 19 was my first year in college. And so the winter I worked here just, over winter break, went back to school, and then COVID hit, everybody came home. And, they still allowed us to deliver cigars for one person coming in at a time, masked up, buy cigars to go. So I was kind of just there doing that. That way they could still do their jobs because real estate, car business both boomed at the same time. And then I never went back.
There's a very famous story where when he told us he wanted to come home from school, I said to him, listen, you're going to come to work. Like, you can come work at the dealership or you're going to work at the lounge. Those are the two options. And I said, but let me be totally clear about something. The general manager's job at LIT Cigar Lounge is not in your future. Okay? And lo and behold, here we are.
Didn't really give him a choice on that one.
Well,
He's earned it, though.
that means you. I was just going to say that means you earned it.
From the outside looking in, it looks like you're doing a fine job.
I appreciate it.
Well, I hear nothing but good things. I got a lot of people that come here and support you guys and talk nothing but good stuff.
And this is like my happy hour spot for work people. I was just here last week with a broker, and they love it.
Plus, I feel like we've been running into each other more and more now with these events that we're doing with golf tournaments and all that stuff to raise money. So
it's been a really neat byproduct of the lounge, the charitable endeavors that we've been fortunate to get involved in. We've met some of the most incredible people, and it really has given us the ability to give back. The support of the local community is vital.
100%.
And if you don't give back to that community, then you can't expect the support.
Right. Well, that's why I think you guys have been successful so far. Same thing with my brand. We have the same mission, same values that you guys carry, and that's what's going to help you. That's what's going to get your whole supporting cast around you.
Yeah, for sure. So are you still in the car business still today?
Every day.
Oh, wow.
I've been with John 26 years, and if he's watching, I'm there every day. Open to. I've been lucky. He's been a tremendous mentor for this business. When one of your top people comes to you and says, "I want to get in business for myself," it was not the best conversation initially. But once we got past that and he saw that I still was going to work, I was still going to be committed, and he's been a tremendous asset to me.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome. Shout out to John Bombrito.
yes, indeed.
All right, so let's. We're going to sample some whiskey here. I think we already poured up some. We may have already started sipping on it, but Kenny, you want to talk about the first bottle we're trying today?
Yeah, so we just poured up this single barrel release from LIT Cigar Lounge, Buzzard's Roost straight bourbon whiskey. It is coming in at 114.8 proof, and so if you got,
I was just going to say, Buzzard's Roost is like climbing right now.
it is.
It's a hot, popular product.
They just opened a tasting room in downtown Louisville and stuff like that. So
We picked this with Mike Grillo, actually.
okay,
Yeah, shout out to Mike Grillo. Grillo gets a shout out like every episode. He does.
He's a podcast sponsor, right?
Yeah, he is.
So
He
sponsors us. We've got to shout him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Grillo's sponsors our blind bottle every month. So basically, the members that pay $10 a month to be part of a single barrel membership, they get entered into a raffle for a blind bottle. It's worth over $100 every month, and thankfully Grillo's jumped on board and helped sponsor that. And we got a pretty good bottle. We can't reveal it right now. But I guess we could.
We can because it's not going
I
to be
think
released
that's
until
time
July 4th.
for it. Yeah,
I think this is live.
So, yeah. So, and you want to speak on what the blind bottles this month?
Yeah, so the blind bottle of the month for the Belgian Bourbon Club is the Frank August Study 5. So went up to Grillo's, I guess it was yesterday, because he's in Arizona right now, and his mom was there, and I was like, did Mike call you? It's like, yeah. She goes, yep. And I was like, all right, well, what should I get? She's like, don't ask me. I was like, okay. So I just started looking around, and I had actually bought that Study 5 from Maui's Liquor in Cobbleville.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great bottle.
Yeah.
Fantastic bottle. So that's the blind bottle.
That'll be a nice treat.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you guys do a decent amount of picks with Grillos, or
So we've split 3.
Yeah, this was our very first one.
Yeah, this was
So
our
was it
very
your
first
first
one.
one? Okay.
We shared an Elijah Craig barrel proof. We shared an Old Dominic.
Yep.
And we have we've shared a rare character that hasn't hit the market yet.
Yep.
So that's coming soon. I went to see Mike on Saturday, and it's coming soon.
Yep.
So we're excited.
we actually have a rare character coming too, probably beginning of November. So that'd be pretty cool. So I was like,
I
a
just got
select
the-
barrel.
Rare character from the wine and cheese place in Creve Coeur.
Yeah.
That bottle is unreal.
Oh yeah,
Unreal.
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this. Andrew, you want to talk a little bit about Buzzard's Roost here and kind of what you think of it?
Yeah. So I had zero knowledge at all going into this barrel pick. I give him trouble a lot because anytime one of our really good partners will bring something to us, he'll just be like, yeah, I'll buy it, not knowing at all what it is without trying to help it. So he texts me one day and he's like, hey, we got offered this barrel of Buzzard's Roost. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't say it's not new by any means, but like I said, gained a
Yes.
lot.
Yes. And so I was completely against it. Showed up, did the tasting, and I think we decided on the 3rd barrel. I think it was in the first two. I was like, all right, it's good. And then that 3rd one hit. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
We actually had Jason here for the pick.
Yeah.
He came
Yeah.
in town for the pick.
And his background is super cool. So a guy with that kind of power and that kind of reputation, he's never going to put out a bad product.
Sure.
It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but he's not going to put out something bad.
I met him. We met him actually at Peerless in Kentucky.
Yeah.
He had a group of guys. I don't know if you know the River City Whiskey Society guys. So they were down there just visiting, and Jason said, "What are you guys doing for dinner tonight?" We had no plans. He said, "Come to the restaurant. You guys are going to have dinner tonight." So we went to his restaurant that night, had dinner, and that's the first time we ever tried Buzzard's Roost. He said, "I got this brand, just getting it rolling and just getting it."
Now, how long ago was that?
So that would have been October of 20.
Okay.
So that's when we first met him.
Kenny, when you get off this, you got the better palate than I do.
No, I mean, as soon as when I opened it up, we first poured it up, I thought it had a really nice nose. I thought it was definitely had some red fruit, caramel.
Yes,
It
definitely.
was like creamy, almost.
When do you guys get out of it?
I'm right there with them. It's always been red fruit cherries, bright cherry.
I get a great sweetness on this. I always think when I
There's a lot of
sniff the nose that it's hotter than what it is.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a hot, but it's not
doesn't
at all.
at all.
Not at all.
What'd you say the proof was on?
Very 114.8.
Yeah.
14.
It's a very smooth 114. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely caramel cherry notes for sure.
Yep.
A little vanilla. At least I get it.
Hopefully, it coats the mouth pretty good too, though.
Yeah, it's a great bottle. So if you want to get that bottle of Buzzard's Roost, you come here to LIT Cigar Lounge again in Chesterfield Valley, the district. They've got, I don't know how much for sale, but they got
A little bit left.
a little bit left.
Yep.
Was it that rack? Is that all you got left?
I've got 1 or 2 cases on site.
Outside. So yeah, I would say there's probably 25 bottles left, just rough number, but it'll go quick. So
What are you guys running that at?
Great question. It's a really good question. Something we should probably know.
I was going to say, I probably should have prepared for that.
come on, Senator.
Oh, man.
No worries, though. But anyway, you can come into LIT Cigar Lounge. We'll be able to handle that for you. Pick a bottle, and it's a very good whiskey.
under 100.
Yeah,
I tell you one thing he does know. He knows what to pair with it as
I
far
do.
as cigars are concerned. So
Yeah, let's talk about that.
all right.
we'll give him a break here since he does have this on.
I appreciate it. So something a pretty new brand to us, just carrying it wise. It's a big brand nationwide. Aganorsa. They are growing almost all of their own tobacco. I'd say Nicaragua. I believe the factory is based in Esteli. But you'll find a lot of the cigars you're smoking from other companies with their tobacco.
Really?
I believe they are still the largest tobacco growing company in Nicaragua. So they make a lot of cigars for other people, and do a fantastic job. What they're known for is their Corojo. It's kind of how they made their name. What it's great for is it's the reason I picked it for this buzzard pick is it's kind of the same where it's a little bit higher proof. You know, off the bat, you think, all right, this might get to me a little bit, but it settles down and the flavor just plows through. A lot of nutty sweetness leather. I think pairs really well with a little bit of that caramel and cherry we were talking about.
100%.
Yeah.
And this will probably mellow that cigar a little bit too. With the
Yeah.
Too, you know, if it does give you a little bite if you're a new cigar smoker or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Something we learned long ago, and we thought as novices just the opposite. We thought that the natural instinct was to proof high proof whiskey or pair high proof whiskey with a mild cigar. And or opposite, a really strong full bodied cigar with a really light whiskey. And what happened is they got lost in each other.
Yeah.
And so we have found whether you're pairing whiskey, scotch, wine, those fuller flavored, higher proof pair really, really well with full bodied cigars. And your lighter, lower proof stuff, your white wines, your Pinot Noirs pair really, really well with light cigars, with Connecticut cigars.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought that either, but
Yeah.
I mean,
And the cigar industry has started to make a switch for that because they know a lot of people. The big thing in the cigar industry right now is people are kind of tired and just sitting there smoking.
Yeah.
They want something to experience. And so a lot of companies have leaned into that and started kind of telling you what this will pair with. There's companies that are making cigars just to pair with a big red wine. For something like a cigar bar where you've got that and kind of get that customer into that pairing and create a whole experience around it.
what I think it's really cool is we were at a 15 Stars bourbon event at St. Louis Bourbon Society. What was that? I don't know, a month ago, something like that. And we were sampling some of their whiskey, and the guy came out and he had us take a bite of a cinnamon roll first, and then drink it. And then there was a chocolate chip cookie or something like a cookie with a different pour, and it was like, wow, like just the complexity of how that changes the whole flavor profile. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I was joking with the gentleman that was helping us pick out these cigars. I said, I just watched a YouTube episode of these two gentlemen sitting in a cigar lounge, and they were drinking. They had 3 different types of whiskeys, and they were pairing it with this what they called the most smooth cigars that they had. And their number one was an Ashton Cabinet.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
And so I told that gentleman, he goes, do this one.
Yep.
And he goes, it's basically the same thing. And it is very light, mild, and smooth.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is called.
It's the Tatuai Monopoly.
Yeah. So, but to your point, people want to experience more than just sitting and smoking a cigar, more than just sitting, sipping whiskey or bourbon. Right. So it's all about that.
It allows you to dive deeper into it. Why do these two pair well together? Okay, what else could pair with that? Well, what could this cigar then pair with?
They do the same thing with food and wine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to have a nice steak dinner, you're probably not drinking a Busch Light.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you are, you're from Missouri, but
to your point with the wine, a lot of these cigar blends they're doing are usually tawny port, sherry cask, Olorosa, which are all from wine barrels. So, it all makes sense. Have a wine cigar.
Another little shout out to Buzzards, which is the reason I kind of fell in love with the company as a whole. They were the very first ones to not do a finish for their cigar. They did a cigar rub. What they did was they took tobacco and cold smoked it inside the barrel to get that tobacco flavor inside the barrel and then filled it.
Really?
It was the most, I guess, authentic way of getting a tobacco flavor into a whiskey.
that's really cool.
Yeah, I've never heard that. So.
Yeah. I mean, the one.
Kudos to Buzzard Bruce. That's
That's pretty good. That's pretty cool, actually. Very unique.
Yeah.
So, again, LIT Cigar Lounge here in Chesterfield. You can get this Buzzard Roost here. We don't know what the price is, but, if you come today in the next 30 minutes, it's free. but you got to be here in 30 minutes.
Yes.
Anyway,
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Come after 6 o'clock on July 4th.
You might be in jail, but
They'll pick up one of those cigars to pair with that Buzzard Roost.
yeah. What was the name of that cigar again?
The Agnor's Validation Corona.
Awesome. Well, cheers to that bottle.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. That was good.
That was a good one.
Yeah, really good.
Something I like doing too, which I don't know if it's right, wrong, or different, but is taking the end of the cigar and just dipping it in the whiskey and then smoking it. Then you really get the flavors of the whiskey and the cigar at the same time, and you can really understand and kind of
Absolutely.
So I was at Bourbon Brew, so were you guys. And I bought the Weller cigar that you guys had there. And on Father's Day, I smoked that. That was a damn good cigar.
Yeah.
Cigar.
I don't know. Maybe you can explain to me how they made that.
Yeah.
sometimes they soak. Don't they soak?
So it originally started, I guess 5 years ago is when they came out with their first one. It originally started as just something to pair. So it was based off Weller 12. It was made to pair with Weller 12. After that, they started kind of taking more influence from distilleries. And so the first couple renditions, they put tobacco leaves inside of a Weller 12 barrel. This one is now foolproof, so they did the same thing with foolproof. So I don't know the exact time. They don't really tell you.
Yeah.
But they let those tobacco leaves rest in a used Weller foolproof barrel to try to soak in as much of that flavor as possible. And then they blend the rest of it based on what they think Weller foolproof is. So obviously, kind of that spicy, obviously cherry note, kind of what Sazerac, especially Weller's known for. And then strong, kind of in your face. You want to balance them out together. And so that's what
it was a really good cigar. I told him, I was like, you got to get you one of these.
Yeah.
It was really good. Cohiba, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are those here currently, or are you guys out?
I mean, he sold out that.
When I went up
He
there,
had to bring.
Yeah, I had to run a little extra shit.
when I took my break from serving Ballin Brothers, like, I guess it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock, there was only 3 left.
Yeah.
And I bought one, and the guy I was with bought one.
Yeah.
So that meant there was one left.
Yeah.
And
I think we sold 3 full boxes.
Yeah.
Of that.
Wow.
Just that day.
Well, I mean, you're going to get the whiskey guys for sure. Weller on, they're like,
Right.
I'm buying that.
Yeah.
No, for what? I still have the case. It's a case of my
The
bar.
package was incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this show, chances are you know your way around a good pour. But if you're ready to take your whiskey journey to the next level, let me introduce you to the Barrel Room Bourbon Club. This is more than just a club. It's a private community of bourbon lovers, collectors, and industry pros who come together to share rare bottles, swap stories, and connect over what we all love most: great whiskey and great people. At the Barrel Room Bourbon Club, we're building real relationships with fellow enthusiasts and with the folks shaping the future of the whiskey world: distillers, blenders, even the occasional barrel pick. Yeah, it's all happening behind those doors. I've seen it firsthand. Some of the best conversations and best pours happen in that room. Old friends, new friends, legendary whiskey. So if you're ready to be part of something special, visit barrelroombourbonclub.com to learn more and apply. That's barrelroombourbonclub.com. We'll see you inside.
All right, Andrew, which bottle are we trying next?
Let's do the planters next.
Okay. You want to talk a little bit about this bottle here?
I'll let you do that one.
So this was a pick we did at Nobleton's in Union, Missouri. Shout out to our local friends. One of the best parts of going to Nobleton's is the experience of meeting Dimitri. It's its own experience all in itself. But what I love about it is we were able to include some of our really good members and customers. So we got to bring a group down there that helped us pick the barrel that day. Then we also took that whole group back and we bottled this on the line down there at the distillery. And and so that was great with my dad cooking. So that bottle right there, we did in conjunction with the group from STL Bucket List.
Yep.
And
Great TikTok, by the way. If you haven't followed them on TikTok, their TikTok is awesome.
their social media is incredible. They do a great job.
Yeah.
But the reason we included them in this is this was our first single barrel that we did with a charitable aspect to
Oh,
it.
nice.
So all of the proceeds from bottle sales from this barrel are donated to the Kaufman Fund. So not sure if you're familiar with that group or not, but they do a really nice job. Again, we wanted to do somebody local. And so that bottle, I know my prices. That bottle is priced at $99, which is more expensive than what the bottle is on the shelf. But again,
it's
100% of the bottle proceeds are donated to the Kaufman Fund.
So for those who don't know the Kaufman Fund,
Yeah,
I'm
just going to say
touch
Yeah.
on that a little bit.
So the husband and wife that started the Kaufman Fund started that charity to just really assist former service members with anything. You know, if they need help with housing, if they need help with, I mean, I don't know that they have a restriction. You know, they have some great mental health programs. Demetrius is a veteran, and so we asked him, we're like, what can we do? And he hooked us up with the Kaufman Fund. So it's been great. It's been really good. That bottle in particular, the name of the bottle is Old Tom. I don't think I'm allowed to tell the whole story about Old Tom.
I saw your batch number, Old Tom.
So Old Tom was a distillery cat that used to hang around the distillery
At Nobleton's.
at Nobleton's. And, all I'll tell you is Old Tom has a very special connection with that barrel. And we didn't know that until after we picked it. After we picked that barrel, he just started laughing, and he says, "Come up here a minute." And we looked at the barrel, and it had Old Tom written on it. And then he told us the story. So it was
That's cool.
it's a fun barrel.
That's awesome.
He makes incredible whiskey. He does.
And what proof we got? We got 114 proof, 114.25.
Yes.
So give her a shot. Shout out to Nobleton's. It says here on the bottle, which I like, actually, it says tasting notes dark caramel, warm spices, delicate vanilla. So let's see if we all get that out of it.
I got the heavy caramel. I also got a little apricot coming along too.
I get the warm spice every time I take my first drink of it.
I got caramel and a tad of apricot, yeah. And I got the spice for sure. That's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's very good.
Yeah, the spice is just up front though.
Yeah.
It dissipates pretty
Yeah,
quick.
it doesn't linger.
Believe
That's really actually really good.
because he had us all try to guess the mash bill once we had picked it, and every single one of us were wrong. I believe that is a high rye mash bill.
A high rye.
Yeah,
I was going to say like a 45, 50 something, whatever.
Yeah.
9 or something. Is it like a 40, 50?
I
40,
can't
50 something.
I can't remember the exact breakdown.
Yeah, you would know that better than I would.
You can taste the rye.
Yeah.
You can taste it, but I didn't like.
No.
It's not your first guess
No.
at all.
Well, that's because it's probably just a touch over 51%. So that's considered a high rye still, but so that's why you're still getting some of that corn, sweet corn, and stuff like that. So
So that's what I am. Maybe I'm a high rye kind of guy.
maybe like a medium high rye.
Maybe like 50% I'm good, 51 I'm good. Anything more than that, don't let me have it. We have a running joke on the show that I hate rye. I despise that shit. He swears to me that I'm going to turn into a rye guy, and I'm like,
As you should.
I don't think I'm going to, but every episode that we have done, last episode was Maui Laker. He brought a bottle, Middle West. Was it Middle West? No, High West. High West. And I was like, oh, that's not bad. And he's like, that's a rye. And I'm like, I knew something was fucking wrong with it.
Wasn't it the cask collection? I think you guys have a cask
We
collection too.
We do.
We're finishing this up now, Blackberry.
Ours was a Petite Syrah.
Right?
Yep.
I think yours might have been a rye finishing this up.
I think it was.
Which was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I gotta admit.
One was, you said yours was what again?
Petite Syrah.
Maybe I don't know if I've had that.
It's a baby midway. That's what it is.
Sweet.
Really?
I mean, those are
Not
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I said, they do a bunch of picks, and that's another one they did from High West.
Yeah.
That supposedly phenomenal, so I'm gonna have to try that here after this. But
Yeah. It was good. But then the episode for that, Grillo brought a Middle West pumpernickel rye.
Yes.
And the story is, I actually went into the store to get the Middle West bourbon, and he goes, "You got to buy the rye too." And I'm like, I hate rye. He's like, "Trust me, try it." I'm like, "Mike, I don't like rye. You know this." He's like, "Just try it." So I did, and I was like, "Okay, that I can drink."
Yeah.
Because it was like the pumpernickel, I guess, takes some of that rye out. I'm not really sure, but so I'm getting there on rye, but I'm just not a 95.5 rye. So
I used to be the exact same way. If I would go to a restaurant or a bar and I would ask for a spirits list, that's it. And I don't do rye. Anything but rye. And as I started to try more stuff, and
that's where everybody tells
They have so much flavor.
they do.
They're so
you think
complex.
that rye has more flavor than
They're
malt?
very complex. So yeah,
Mhm.
the more they age, the more complex they get. Yeah. But then you start getting minty and dill and all kinds of other things that come out too. But then there's still a ton of caramel, so it's like a nice little complex balance out.
I mean, weren't you the one just telling me like the longer rye stays in a barrel, that the more dill, the more, and sometimes you can almost age it too long. Is that right?
Everybody's got a different palate, but yeah, I would say a sweet spot would be between 4 to 6 years on a rye. It's like a good sweet spot. It's not like getting to the point where people don't want so much mint or dill spice to come out. They want more of that rye spice to get the flavor of the actual rye. There's so many different ryes too, Bubba rye, all these other crazy names for it. They all bring different flavor profiles and notes and all that. So it all depends. But I mean, yeah,
Well, it depends on everybody's palate.
yeah,
For sure.
so
For sure. Well, this was definitely, I'm going to say, I'm not shocked, but it's way better than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're, it's not knocked to Nobleton's by any means. I just, it's really good, and it's got a lot of legs on it, too.
Tons.
Have you been down there?
mm-hmm.
Yes, I have not.
You need to go do it.
Yeah.
It's an experience for sure.
No, I have not. A friend of ours, Stephen Savage,
Sure.
obviously, he uses Nobleton for his Farmstead distillery. So, but no, I've had Farmstead, but I haven't actually ever been down to Nobleton's. The one bottle, I guess why I say that was, and I don't remember the name of it. We were bird sighting one night. Joseph brought me a bottle. I poured something in my glass, and it was from Nobleton's, and I don't remember what it was.
The Soggy Sad.
What was it?
The Soggy Sad release.
That was a Grillo pickup.
Yeah, that was a Grillo pick.
Yeah, I didn't like them. And so that's the only Nobleton product I ever had, other than Savages and now this one.
So I think, and I might be mistaken. I think that is a pretty high rye. That's high proof.
Yes.
So I think
Well, that's probably why I didn't like it. Then.
That's why he did. I thought it was actually a pretty good rye. I was very impressed with it. So
You know the story on that barrel?
I do a tiny bit.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that one either.
I didn't want to speak on it, but I do know a little bit on the
Yeah.
story of it. But
Yeah,
No, I don't like
let's
it.
just say they thought the barrel was a dead sold. It had fallen in the water.
Yeah.
Literally. And spent the winter in there because Demetrius couldn't get to it with his tractor. And when spring came, and all of a sudden he thought it was gone. He thought it would be solid finished. And when spring came, all of a sudden this barrel stuck out the water. And he went down, got it, pulled it out of the pond, and pulled it up and cracked it, did a little thief taste, and he's like, it's fucking incredible.
that's
That's an awesome story. Yeah, that's a cool story.
So
But yeah, it makes sense. It was a high rise, probably. Trust me, he's got a high rise that I bought a bottle and I'm never going to open it. Yeah, it's just going to sit on my shelf.
it looks good.
someday. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, someday.
It's my favorite release.
It's his
I've
favorite.
done.
And
Yeah.
honestly, we went down and did that thing.
Yeah.
Him and I, and there was 12 of us. It was everybody's favorite thing. Like everybody loved it. I was like, it's like shit to me.
Yep.
But I'll get there. I guess I'll get there. But this is really
I
good.
tell you what, though, the longer you let this sit, the more it opens up, and it actually gets sweeter on the nose. Now it's like definitely way sweeter, way fruitier.
It is. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
I get the rye at the end. Am I wrong on that?
I get it more up front,
You get more up front.
and then it dissipates, so it doesn't even go past.
I get a lot from a lot of that. I mean, it's very sweet. Very sweet. That's a good pick, Demetrius. Great bottle. That's awesome.
What cigar do you have paired with this, Andrew?
Yeah.
So for that, I have my favorite thing that Avo makes. That is the Avo Classic Maduro. This was probably one of the first Maduros I ever smoked getting into the industry. And the reason I love it so much is because it is on a strength scale, it's probably medium plus. It's not super strong. Somebody just getting into cigars, maybe they've had a few and they want to try to bump it up. It's something I'd put them right towards because it's not going to knock you in the head, but you're going to get a lot of those bold flavors.
Okay.
So I think that goes super well with this because kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Super high proof, super bold flavors. I think it brings out a lot of sweetness in the cigar because it's very dark chocolate, cedar heavy.
Really?
So I just think they play really well together. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Say that again one more time.
Avo Classic Maduro.
I have a question. And those are obviously sold here at
Yep.
LIT.
So I do got to ask a question.
Yeah.
What now? Do your staff go do like formal education stuff like that? Do you guys require that stuff?
So
But I guess the only reason I asked is the gentleman out there, I can't remember his name.
Ethan.
Is unbelievably knowledgeable. And
Unbelievable.
he just impressed the shit out of me in that room because I was asking him like, hey, I like Maduros. I'm not like a crazy cigar guy. I told you at the firehouse, I'm sit there and smoke them every rotation out there in Angel Bay. But I'm Olivia, be a More, or a Black Betty, or something like that. Nothing too crazy. But I was like, hey, can you just steer me to a Maduro that you would recommend? And he's looking around. What do you like, this or that? I'm like, just give me a recommendation.
Yeah.
I said, this is what I've had. This is what I usually do. So he takes me over to this one. I guess it's called Payback or.
Oh, the Payback Maduro.
And he's sitting there. He pulls it out. He goes, "This is why I think this one's a good one." He's like, "Look at it. You look at the top of it. I'm looking at it. What the hell am I looking at? So look at it. He's like,
looks brown.
you can tell. He's like, look at the darker leaves in there. And he's like, you can tell it's extracted the oils. This one's going to burn fantastic for you. And I'm like, dude, I'm sold. So I guess all that is kind of curious because I figured you guys had done some education with your staff and all that.
For sure. So
I was
Ethan,
amend that and say, hey, there's another reason to come here and patronize you guys because you're very knowledgeable, can steer people in the right direction, and kind of assist them.
You want to tell that story?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
So Ethan came to us with a big spirits background.
Okay.
He was studying for CSS at the time that we hired him. Just absolute nerd when it comes to whiskey. He actually just got back from Jack Daniels last night. We sent him down there for a 3-day excursion with them.
Oh, wait, I saw that. Was that your
Yeah.
media?
Yeah.
He did their backstage camp for 3 days down there.
That's awesome.
It's an unbelievable.
What do they do with that?
They take you through every aspect of what they do at the distillery. And I'll tell you, Dane and I were lucky enough to visit the distillery last July. And what you would think for the number of cases that Jack Daniels sells worldwide, you would think that it's a total machine operated commercial experience. It's not that at all. And what they do down there is incredible. And I don't know if you've had any of their recent age statement stuff, their 10-year, their 12-year.
I have a 14.
The 14.
I've had both your 10-year and 12 years here.
Yeah.
I have to say that.
They're wonderful.
I haven't had 14 yet. That one's been a little tougher to come by.
Yeah.
I think here and there, but
I
it's
said,
at a 140, 150 price point at
Yeah.
retail.
So he came to us with that massive spirits background. The other thing he came to us with was a massive ego.
That's an ego?
Yeah. And so him and I are the same age, 4 months apart. And so my whole thing to him was like, look, right now I don't need a bartender. I need somebody to help me on the cigar side. So I'm going to tell you everything I know about cigars. And to be honest, I didn't know a ton about whiskey or spirits in general at the time. So I want you to teach me that. And
Ethan would judge you in the old days. He would judge you if you came to the bar and you ordered an Elijah Craig and a Sprite. He'd just he'd give you that little side eye.
I would too, by the way.
Yeah.
We finally had to tell him, we're like, Ethan, you're welcome to make suggestions to people, but let people drink how and what they want to drink.
That is true.
So to be completely honest, I mean, we were maybe 3 weeks into him working for us. And I called him in early one day. I was like, hey, meet me up at the shop at 10 a.m. I was like, I want to talk. And I read him the riot act. And I was like,
if this whole ego thing does not stop, I was like, we can't do this. I was like, we're 3 months away from opening a brand new location that we believe is going to blow up. I was like, I need young people who are excitable and want to learn like you, but who can just do what you need to do. It's like, I want you to spread your spirits knowledge. I want you to try to extract everything I have to give and everything all of our vendors have to give on the cigar side and put that into what you do daily. I was like, but you got to understand, we're about creating an experience for someone, not your own opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what it's about. And so we were it was 3 months down the line. It was the day before we opened this spot. We cut him down to half hours. He started picking up shifts elsewhere. And him and I were stocking the humidor at like 10 p.m. the day before we opened this spot. And he just goes, all right, I want to talk to you. I was like, okay. And he's like, I don't know why. He's like, but for some reason, I want to come back full time. I want to learn as much as humanly possible, and I want to be here. This is the place I want to be. The family's amazing. I believe in what you guys are doing. I don't care what it takes. I want to be here. And so I just had the very real conversation with him of like, I love that. That is the perfect approach, but you realize what you've been doing. Like, we can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, he has become my right-hand man. He is now, as well as certified tobacconist. Him and I are probably going to do our SOMs next year.
Nice.
And
Sweet.
he's someone I can trust to be here every day when we aren't here, and he will do it. He has the same mission as us. He has the same knowledge. And it's weird now because, I taught him a lot about the cigar side, and he taught me a lot about the spirit side. And it's almost like we've swapped right now.
Yeah.
I'm behind the bar a lot more, and he's in the humidor a lot more. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
It's awesome to have employees like that,
Yeah.
right? That you can trust and has become a staple of your brand, frankly.
He does all of our videos for social media now. He was a theater kid in high school, so he's fantastic at it.
He does a Cigar Sunday series every Sunday. We release a video where he just talks about the smoking experience on a different cigar every Sunday. And people love it. People absolutely love it. They love his personality.
Well, he's to Kenny's point. Every time I've been in here, because I'll be transparent, I'm just getting into cigars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I like. I'm trying to figure that out, right? Like I said, I watched a YouTube video the other day to try to learn. But there's nothing I like more than sipping whiskey and smoking a cigar. And I drink whiskey almost every night of the week. So he's very knowledgeable. And to Kenny's point, when you tell him kind of what you like or what you like, I don't want something like. The other cigar that I bought when we were at a Bourbon Brews was the flavored cigar.
Yeah.
And the gentleman I was with was like, "You're not going to like that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "It's going to be so sweet on your lips that you're not going to like it." I'm like, "See, that sounds good, sweet on my lips." And Bob Partel, if you're watching this right now, you are correct. I did not like that. It was like, I felt like every time I put that thing in my mouth, my lips were sticking to it. It was like sticky. Yeah, it tasted all right, but I just couldn't get over that first taste.
Yeah. It's like everybody's introduction to wine, especially that starts like in this area. It's like you make a couple trips to Augusta and Defiance, and they make great products and fine products. But
grapes a little bit.
It's a little different, and you start to drink wine, and then you finally work your way into
Possible holes.
different stuff. And you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I tell you a brand that my wife and I are hooked on. I don't know if you guys heard. It's called Scout and Cellar.
no,
So we have a really good friend that sells Scout and Cellar. It's from California, so that's where they're. I don't know if they grow the grapes there. I don't know, but that's where they're based. That's all I know. And their claim to fame is that you can drink a whole bottle and you won't have a headache. Because they remove some kind of the sugar or
sulfites,
whatever that's in it, sulfites. And so we've been drinking this rosé that they have, and I'm not a big wine guy, but it is delicious.
Yeah.
The Pinot Noir is pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, so
it's hard to be a good one.
it is hard to be,
Yes.
especially like sometimes like I don't know. Right now, guys, it's 98 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit on my patio and drink hot whiskey.
No.
Yep.
I need something cold.
Yep.
You know, and that's what we've been doing the past couple of nights.
That's what we plan to do. We're heading to Michigan here on Sunday up to Traverse City, and it's a big wine country up there.
Yep.
My wife's a big winer, and she's all ready for it.
She likes wine.
Oh, yeah.
That she's not a big wine. She
Thanks for correcting me. She likes us. Happy. Yeah. So anyway, so we're looking forward to that. But
Awesome.
In every firehouse, every patrol car, every ambulance, and every military unit, there's a bond forged in courage, sealed by sacrifice. At Fallen Brothers Crafted Spirits, we raise a glass to the heroes who never made it home. Crafted in honor, shared in remembrance. Each bottle of our handcrafted whiskey tells a story of bravery, of brotherhood, of lives lived in service. And with every pour, you're giving back. Because a portion of every bottle goes directly to organizations supporting the families of fallen first responders right here in our area. To the ones who answered the call, to the ones who still do, and to those we'll never forget, Fallen Brothers, Crafted Spirits. Raise one. Remember them. Available now. Drink with honor. Support with heart.
All right, well, our last bottle for the night is probably one of my favorites. I won't lie to you. Kenny knows this. Everybody watching knows I'm a big Old Forester fan.
me too. We've got
I'm not sure I have had a bottle of Old Forester that I don't like, if I'm being honest. But I don't know necessarily. So
130.1.
130.1, so you got a very high proof here. But I will bet you when we sip this, it'll be smooth as can be.
So the unique thing about that is when we tasted it, it was actually the lowest proof of everything we tasted. It was 127, I think, when we picked it, and then it bumped to 131. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a floor one,
It is.
Yeah.
which is super weird to get up to 130.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah. that is.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that you say that.
You can tell when you taste it.
No.
No. They got some warehouses there. Everybody raves about Warehouse K, and
Yep.
I'm not sure about Element. But I'm pretty sure my buddy Craig Werder's a big whiskey guy. He buys a lot of bottles from his too,
Yep.
and he opened that up and he raved about it. So I trust his palate a lot.
So I've had an Old Forester single barrel pick by Deerbergs.
Mhm.
That was okay. Then I did an Old Forester pick by Midwestern.
That looks really good too.
Midwestern Warehouse, shout out to Jared, are clients of mine. And so I got a bottle of theirs, and it's killer. I mean, it's really, really good. So I'm really excited to try this. When you said, let's try the OF, I was like, sold, man. You have done me twice.
So you haven't tried this one?
I have not tried this one.
I haven't had. I don't believe I've had this one either.
Yeah, this was.
Oh, yeah.
Old Forester, heavy banana.
I love
feel like there's a silvertoy there. That's a good smell.
Bananas?
Yeah. Dude, you walk in there, banana.
We talked about that on one previous episode that we did.
Yeah. Yeah, because that 1924 is like a Sunday,
Oh,
or like a banana split, essentially. It's
Have you done the 1924? Oh, that might be the best bottle. Like, I mean, that thing is delicious.
Yeah.
It has so much flavor to it.
Yeah.
Hard to get. But like,
Yes.
we were down in Kentucky picking up barrels for Fallen Brothers and walked into liquor bottle
Oh,
and it had 2 bottles. And I was like, we'll take them both.
Gosh.
Yeah, this was a bucket
the
list.
nose right now. Not to knock any of the other whiskey tried today, just the nose of this one. Just for me, Old Forester.
I was going to say, you know me, I don't hide behind anything. This is hands down the best bottle I've ever had. I mean, that is at 130 proof. That doesn't even drink like 105 proof.
Nope.
It is smooth.
Yeah,
That's a really good bottle.
we call this the Bananas Foster. You get the banana, you get that creamy sweetness, and then you get that cinnamon on the back end. It is, yeah, it's my favorite pick we've ever done.
It's so
Usually the Old Forester has massive red fruit notes, and I don't get a ton.
Not at all.
Like you said, banana was like you said, banana immediately.
Yeah, as soon as I smell it.
just nailed it.
Yeah.
So how many bottles of that we got left here?
Not many.
Yeah.
There's probably 3 cases left of that.
Probably, give or take. Yeah.
So basically, what we're saying is this is the best bottle we've had tonight. Not knocking the other two because they were fantastic. There's only a few cases left. So again, if you're going to get down here to LIT Cigar Lounge in the Chesterfield District, I would definitely try a sample of this. Get a cigar.
Speaking of that,
This is killer. Go ahead.
want to touch on which
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. All right. So for this one, we chose the Liga Privada T52. I'm sure a lot of people who smoke for the cigar, they might smoke the cigar. So it uses a Havana seed that they actually grow in Connecticut. They are the largest growers of tobacco in Connecticut. They're number 9 in this, both grown up there. It's strong, but it's not offensive, but it is super creamy. It's kind of the complete opposite to a number 9, which is in your face, spicy. I mean, you can taste that cigar. This one kind of just coats the entire thing. Still, you get a little bit of that black pepper spice, but to go with something that's that high up proof, but still sweet, I think it just rounds it out really, really nice.
So is that going to be like one that you put your lips and it's going to feel sticky on your lips?
No. So it's traditional.
Okay.
No sweeteners at all to it. I know that's kind of what a lot of people know Drew Estate for, but this is not one that's part of their Liga Privada line. It just has a lot of natural sweetness with the tobaccos they're using.
What was the cigar you put? We're talking to Ethan about that. Something Betty.
Fat bottom Betty.
that bottom bed. Yeah.
Are those popular right now? Because
So I'd probably be wrong if I told you it wasn't our best selling cigar since we opened this.
Seriously.
And what about? I enjoy them. They got like a sweet flavor tip on them.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a rum tip or whatever. But
So that's going to be more of a flavored cigar.
Yeah. And
Maybe that's why I smoke.
to me, I like it.
I don't know. I'm on a bourbon brews.
yeah,
You know.
I think I sent acid and those out there, so you might have smoked either of the two.
The acid would be the
Oh,
low.
I didn't like the acid. I got
Okay.
the other one.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't like that.
Well, they have a couple different types.
Well, show.
I think they like
Dude, I thought the one I get
I
was
don't
called.
I just call it how it is. I don't have I love it. It's
So-
just like too sweet.
This is where it really started to shine through, kind of the family business aspect of this whole thing. So I'd say we were about 2 years in, so I was a year and a half of being here full time. And we had a meeting with Drew Estate. And he was like, flavored cigars are the best selling thing in the industry. Like, we need to bring more in. We only have a couple. I fought it. I fought it really hard. Because I was still new. I was such a traditionalist.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like the sweet stuff. And then we kept bringing more in. We kept, more people kept coming for them. And honestly, you have people now, a lot of the older smokers are tired of the natural flavor. They want something just sweet in the morning and that's it. And so they've switched over to it. So kind of my motto has been for the last couple of years, at the end of the day, a smoker is a smoker. We're happy to have them in our family. We're happy to have a cigar smoker.
Well, and to that point, talking about Ethan, I would turn my nose up to somebody took Elijah Craig and put it with Sprite too.
To be fair, he also did do the flavored cigar thing when somebody was like, yeah, I want that Java Mint. And he's like, gross, why? That was another conversation we had to have. But
My point is, everybody's going to drink their whiskey different.
Mhm.
Yep. Everybody's going to smoke different cigars and have different palates. Him and I have different palates. My neighbor across the street, Bob, we have different palates. As long as you're, having fellowship and making friends.
Yep.
I mean, that's what whiskey all is to me.
100%.
It's just, and cigars. It's just socializing and having something to bond over and talk about, which is what makes really this St. Louis community really, really cool because there's so many different people like Mike Grillo, Demetrius, you guys, Joe Maui, St. Louis Bourbon Site, we all kind of become friends through just this community of whiskey and cigars. And to me, that's why I do it, and I love whiskey. But
You meet like-minded people, the fellowship, everything that's involved.
I mean, if I didn't start this, him and I didn't start this podcast, I don't know if we would have been. For sure, right? I mean, I've been in here 100 times, and I'm never going to be like, hey, can I meet your owner?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I'm not that kind of guy, right? Grillo and I met because I buy a bunch of stuff, right? Same thing with Joe at Maui's Liquor. But it just create and meet new people every day and gain new friends from. It's what's really cool.
It's been the best part of the business.
I'm sure it
It
has.
truly has.
Sure.
And I think we maybe should go back and touch on some of the experience stuff that you guys kind of have here. I know you guys got lockers and
Yeah, why don't you-
tables and all that. You want to touch on like
Touch
whole
on
experience?
this episode. Touch on like what you guys have to offer. This is your sales pitch to our community.
Starts off.
So we are open to the public, first of all, but we do have membership lockers here. We're fortunate to currently be full, but that always changes. So don't hesitate to check in with us.
You can get a ladder, then climb up the ladder.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Something we do unique for locker members is we allow locker members to store bottles in their locker. So they can come in, they can pull bottles from their locker and share them with people that they bring in, which is kind of a flex thing that people get to do. Right?
Yeah.
We do members events. We give a member's cigar every month that we put in their locker. And, besides the discounts and all that kind of stuff. But what we've really become known for are some of the experiences. We do a ton of tasting events. We do some great educational stuff here. We've done tequila classes. We've done ladies' cigar nights. We've done all that kind of stuff. And I think that really is what builds the community. When you have those people here and it's not just coming in to buy something off the bar or buy something out of the humidor. When you come in and you can learn from someone who is truly an expert, that takes your education level to another spot and changes your enjoyment of your cigar, changes your enjoyment of your spirit.
Well, and I mean, again, I come here quite often, but even the poker group that you guys got, it almost feels like forget the cigars, forget this whiskey, forget the spirits, forget all that. It's a social club.
Yeah. It is.
It has that vibe.
Yeah.
Where you got your regular poker players, you got your regular cigar smokers, you got your happy hour crew. It's more of a social environment, and it's a very welcoming environment. And you got to have some good ventilation out there because I tell you what, I very rarely am like, all I can breathe a cigar.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that here. Now, I've been to other cigar spots, and it is like smack in your face, and you can barely breathe, and your wife won't even go into the place.
So ventilation was 25% of the overall project cost here. There are two 40-ton Doage units on the roof that do nothing but bring in fresh 100% clean air. So it doesn't recycle any air out of the space. It exhausts 100% of the dirty air and brings in 100% clean air. So it's not perfect. You still smell cigars when you're here.
No, of course, but it doesn't hit you in the face, though.
No, and you don't have to burn your clothes when you get home.
No.
Yeah, but it's definitely wife approved though, because my wife doesn't really care for cigar smoke, and she's able to come in here. She likes whiskey. She's able to come in here and sit and actually let me smoke cigar and have whiskey, and her also have a whiskey.
Absolutely.
So without complaining. So
And my wife loves to smell cigars. She does, honestly. She's like, you can smoke? I love the smell.
Yep.
She's like, just don't put it anywhere near my mouth. and then she'll say, and don't fucking kiss me until you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Okay. But I was actually in here last week with a broker. And I said, man, their ventilation here is incredible. He goes, you think they got ventilation in here? I said, I literally said to him, and he comes in here, 100% they do. He goes, you don't think they just run like ozone machines at night to like make it better? I'm like, there's no fucking way. There's no way.
No.
Well, and the other spot you had great ventilation.
It did. It had massive ceilings.
Yeah.
Full disclosure.
That and a half wall that ran over to 8,000 square feet.
Of unoccupied space.
Yeah.
But
That one didn't, but you didn't have like some like kind of with a kitchen.
So we had, they're called Purifans.
Okay.
And they hung in the ceiling. But that was kind of what got us our name, right? We'd have, in that small spot, we'd have 80 people and there's zero smoke around. And so when it came to building out this place, we all kind of look at each other. We're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive, but it's so needed. And so many people forget about it.
100%.
the irony of the ventilation, and I can say it now, is when we were building this place, it came to get time to get mechanical permitting from the county. And purely based on square footage and CFMs out of the HVAC, they held our project because they said we didn't have adequate ventilation. And I mean, when I tell you the extents we went to, we were lucky enough to get a face-to-face meeting with the leadership team at the county. And I said to him, listen, no disrespect to anyone, but we pulled them. You could pull every mechanical permit for every cigar lounge in St. Louis County, and you could add up individually what all of them spent on HVAC, and it doesn't total what we have budgeted for HVAC. And you're going to tell me we don't have enough? Like, are you kidding me? Wow. Are you kidding me? And so we obviously finally got it done, but it was a struggle. It's a struggle.
Yeah. Well, you guys have built a great business here.
Thank you.
I love coming here. I know Kenny loves coming here. Obviously, we did a Fallen Brothers release here on the Red Poppy Rye.
Yep.
Yeah, Red Poppy Rye. And you do a lot for our community. And so to that, I say cheers. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Make sure you like and follow this podcast. Also, make sure you check out LIT Cigar Lounge. You can find them on the website. They have a Facebook page. A lot of great information. Again, LIT Cigar Lounge here in Chesterfield District. What's the website?
LitSTL.com.
LitSTL.com. You can check it out. We'll also put it here at the bottom of the screen for you to click on. We want to thank our sponsors, Grillo's Chop and Barrel, Barrel Room Bourbon Club, and Fallen Brothers Crafted Spirits. On behalf of Kenny and I, thank you. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.